Good morning, children. It is the video for class 10 English. It is the book First Flight, from which it is the first poem for the students of class 10 in English. It is composed by Robert Frost, and I, Amiya, would like to just make you know all about the symbolism about the poet as well as about its background and the literary devices that you will be acquainted with, so that you can learn line by line explanation as well as with a question answer and summary. You will understand it much better. It is my best effort in order to make the children understand all about this lesson. First, let us know about the poet. Who is the poet? It is Robert Lee Frost, who was born on March 26, 1874, January 29, 1963. He died. He was an American poet, and his work was initially published in England before it was published in America. Means he lived in a farmland, he had his family, and he sold all his farmland because he had this inquisitiveness to write poems just from beginning of life. When he was in school and college, he wanted to write, and this was a passion for writing poems. He is highly regarded for his realistic depictions of rural life, means the life that are lived in village. People are so simple. They have not so much knowledge, but they have feelings, emotions, passions, compassions, sympathy, and various kinds of cooperation among themselves. His command of American colloquial speech means here he had a very good command on the local vernacular languages. His work frequently implied settings from rural life in New England in the early 20th century, using them to examine complex social and philosophical themes. One of the most popular and critically respected American poets of the 20th century he is. He has already got 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry, and he was also honored by then President of America John F. Kennedy. He was one of the rarest public literary figures born in America and became famous all over the world. He was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal in 1960 for his poetry work. Here in this very poem, what is the abstract idea that the poet likes to analyze, that is fire and ice. The purpose of this study is to investigate the intrinsic elements as fictional languages in this poem. Using close reading methods, elements of figurative languages that used in this study is symbolism. Here, Robert Frost wants to tell that the world is destined to be ended because of damage from fire or the creation of ice. That in 2 cases, that is the keyword, that is Robert Frost. It is called symbolism or figurative languages. One of the most beautiful quotes that he uttered once is like this. What is that? Accept no one's definition of your life. Define yourself. What a beautiful, what a meaningful sentence is this, that if anyone defines something in your life, for your life, you should not accept it. But if you rise and work hard in this way, your definition will be accepted by others. That he means to say, means the theories and the discoveries that you will have, that will be followed. As in class 9 you learned that the road not taken, that very poem is the best example suiting in for this very statement. Symbolism is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal sense. Once again, I would like to read: symbolism is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal sense. According to Oxford Dictionary, symbolism means use of symbols like objects, character, use of color to represent abstract ideas or quality. Now the recitation of this poem is quite essential, and how to read it out and try to understand it, that you will understand. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have saved of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to be its choice, I think I know enough of heat to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. So it is the way that we can read it out. What does it mean? It means that the poet has two kinds of ideas, and he has observed keenly the scenes of the people, the predictions made by various kinds of people living all around in the globe. So, what is that? They think that the fire or the ice will really perish the whole world on which we live. Here, he has symbolized fire and ice with lust, desire, greed, and avarice, intolerance. That is the idea here. But here, ice is referred to that insensitivity, coldness, cruelty, intolerance, and the hatred. Men say the two ideas are mainly focused, that are the lust and the hatred, desire and hatred. And these are the two reasons that are really enough to destroy the whole world. Here, the fire and ice are the metaphors. It is a poetic device in which there is an implied comparison used for fire and ice. So here you can understand that fire and ice are metaphors that are used for desire and hatred. That you must understand. Antithesis. What is called antithesis? Antithesis means the one idea that is contradicted by the other is called antithesis. And so here, fire is the antithesis of ice. Antithesis of ice. What is antithesis of ice? Fire. So here, symbolism that I told you, this poem is about the two symbols of fire and ice. When the poet associates with fire with desire and ice with the hatred, then it is used as the symbols for the human emotions and the behavior that he makes. What is called enjambment? E-N-J-A-M-B-M-E-N-T, enjambment. If there are the lines that are followed and there is no sign of punctuation made in the poem, that very figure of speech is called enjambment. Here, in the last three lines of this very poem, I think I know enough of it. There is no comma, full stop or semicolon to say that for destruction ice, no comma, full stop or sign of exclamation is also great. There is also nothing like that. So here it is an example of what? Enjambment. So here you have learned these are the things. Here the end of the world could mean doom or the apocalypse. Apocalypse is P-O-C-A-L-Y-P-S-E, as it is written in the book like Bible or any religious scripture. What is this? It would be a celestial happening, heavenly happening. What is that? It has been expressed by some of the astronomers or Nostradamus, who also predicted the things long ago about the end of this very world. It could also be a natural calamity. Natural calamity, it means that it could be an earthquake, volcanoes, forest fire, or ice age would happen. So some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So here fire means what? There may be volcanic eruption, there may be jungle fire, there may be a disastrous war that would be caused in the world, and this could certainly end the world. Some say in fire, ice. What does it mean? If there is man's greed and that just increases and one becomes insensitive, intolerant, cruel towards others, and for the expansion or in the name of nationalism of the country and their greed, avarice, these all things will lead to the collapse of the world in which we live. So here the poet has demarcated these two things. One is fire and the other is the ice. Now the line that says, "From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice." Now the poet had clearly mentioned that he has experienced what I have tasted of desire. Whatever knowledge and experience and the feelings that he has got in his long life, he finds that it is the unlimited desire and it is the selfishness or the greed that is endless. To satisfy it, one forgets all the human relations, and these human relations are forgotten and his desire is burning in his heart so much that in order to get his desire fulfilled, he just kills the others wantonly in an inhuman way that is so wild and savage. So he just holds his idea with those who just have this prediction or this idea that the world will end in fire. But if it had to perish twice, what is this? It means that if the ambitions rise and these ambitions, aspirations, gluttony or greed, really they can think of it. But here they think that this would hatred would come. Hatred would come. Twice means what? Hatred will be there, cruelty will perish, the wild life will happen, means there will be no want of humanity, there will be no feeling of brotherhood, there will be no feeling of sensitivity, and so they will destroy everything as the nature they will destroy. And if the nuclear war also takes place, certainly everything will turn into water and then it will turn into ice and there will be completely frozen place on the earth. That is also very possible to happen. So here lastly it says, I think I say enough of it. I think I say I know enough of it to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Here the poet has also expressed negative feelings like hatred himself and also in people around him. He is also very honest with us. Hatred is taken to be an ice cold emotion. It could also be that he has received this emotion from someone and knows what is wrong and what it can do. It means the selfishness will rise in such a way that will lead everything to the uncaring. So we need that something must be taken into account. And lastly, that is what and would suffice means here it says that something in our mind and it makes our hair stand on the ends. It frightens us, makes us shudder, sick with that inadequacy and imperfection that is found in human nature, and it will be a boomerang on all of us and lead all of us to destruction. So here you have learned about all these things. So here poet wants to make us think all about the ideas that are negative ideas that we just have inherited or not inherited, then we just get it. But he wants us to have an introspection and think and check our desires and just remove the hatred and the cruelty from our mind so that we can make our life so good, so well, so nice. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. It is all about this. Now you can know about the summary. Fire and Ice is a short poem by Robert Frost. In this poem, the poet refers to two predictions of how the world will end. Some say it will end in fire, whereas others say it will end in ice. According to the poet, fire stands for desire, greed, avarice, or lust. The more one gets to satisfy them, the more they grow. There is no end to it. They spread rapidly like fire and engulf our whole life. One becomes selfish and sometimes very cruel On the other hand, ice, according to the poet, stands for hatred, coldness, and rigidity. One becomes insensitive and indifferent towards the feelings of others. The poet says that both fire and ice are growing with such a rapid speed that the world would soon perish either way, in fire or ice. That's all. It is the summary, and now it is the complete video of this very poem, Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Thank you all of you.